Hi all, I am Roland and I am the extreme digital nomad. I write code, always and everywhere. Welcome to this episode of the Augmented Software Engineering Podcast. Please read the blog post that is in the description to understand what this is all about. In the last couple of episodes, we talked about the importance of the context and how the stacks can look like. In this episode, we will go back to using AI to solve problems. Let's get started. The problem we want to solve is problem number 50. To solve this problem, we look for a function that will take a text and will return the set of character and Huffman code pairs. These Huffman codes can then be used to encode and compress the given string. Huffman coding is very efficient. To get the Huffman codes, we first need to calculate the frequencies of every character. From these frequencies, we can then build the Huffman tree and can then finally traverse the tree to build the Huffman codes. In this podcast, we will not talk about how the Huffman coding actually works, but there are lots of documents that you can read and lots of tutorials you can watch about how to calculate the Huffman codes. To make things more interesting, we will use Windsurf instead of Scode and GitHub Copilot and ChatGPT. Windsurf is the brand new code editor that was released by Codium recently. The claim and the promise is that Windsurf will be able to leverage Codium much more and much better than Scode will be able to do with the Codium plugin. I am especially curious to learn how Codium flows will work. Flows allow you to task the AI with bigger tasks that require changes to multiple files. GitHub Copilot just released a similar functionality with GitHub edits. Codium allows you to use ChatGPT, Claude, and a Codium model that is based on Llama. We will use Claude 3.5 Sonnet. Let's get started. Windsurf is of Scode clone. Means as usual, we have our file explorer on the left and our editors in the middle. On the right-hand side, we have the Codium chat view. The only other thing that we need to do is to install the Metals LSP server for Scala. After that is installed, we can open the test, and the test will get indexed and will show up in our test view. The chat window on the right-hand side has two modes, chat mode and write mode. In chat mode, you can ask general questions about your code base and the programming language you're using. In write mode, Codium can make changes to your code base. You can toggle the mode with the slider, and you can see the current mode at the top of the screen. You can also toggle the mode with the Control key. Next, we switch to write mode and ask Codium to help us to implement a solution for P50 of the 99 Scala problems. It analyzes the code base and finds out that solving P50 means to implement a Huffman coding. It then creates a new file and puts an initial implementation into the file. It also updates the test file with an initial test. To wrap this up, we will just accept this initial suggestion as is. We will now ask Codium to compile and run the tests for us. To make this easier, I have simplified the test to two test cases. I also told Codium to use mil instead of SBT. It will now try compile and run the tests. In our case, the code will compile. But if it would not compile, Codium would try to fix the code until it compiles. It will then try to run the tests. And again, if the test would fail, Codium would try to fix the solution to the problem or the test to make the tests pass. But this time around we are good. All the code compiles and all the tests pass. That's it for today. We had an initial look at P50 and generated an initial solution that compiles and also added some simple initial tests to make sure that the implementation is doing the right thing. Next time we will add more complex, challenging tests. The expectation is that the test will show that the implementation is not 100% correct. We will then work to improve the current implementation and iron out all bugs that are probably in this first implementation. See you next time, and do not forget to like and subscribe.